Good afternoon, everyone. I think the the purpose of the call essentially is to take stock of the current result season, how has the result season been, and in view of the sharp rally that one has seen, and also the monetary policy that came out yesterday. How do the markets look from here on, and what kind of sort of stocks we think still sort of look attractive from the current prices. So briefly, I sort of I will briefly touch upon some of the major points in the economy as well as the markets, and then we'll look at the topics. I think the earnings season more or less is proceeding as per what we had expected in the pre-quarterly review that we did at the beginning of the year. I think we were expecting strong performance from the IT sector, from the automobile sector, and from private sector banking sector. And all the three sectors, I think the results that have come out so far, I think are more or less in line with our expectations. The pressure points were expected essentially in sectors like construction, real estate, metals, power, and I think the quarterly results sort of of the companies from these sectors have again sort of indicated that elevated raw material costs, slowing demand due to uncertainty in the macro environment, high interest rates, and sharp depreciation in rupee, which happened in the last quarter, have essentially been responsible for the lackluster performance of companies in these sectors. I think what has changed in last month and a half essentially is that some of the concerns that people had from the global markets seem to have abated. Essentially, the sovereign debt concerns in Europe, which were dominating the global markets, I think there some relief has come in terms of the European Central Bank sort of infusing very large amounts of cash, around I think $500 billion of cash injection had happened from the European Central Banks, and that helped spread calm in the nervous and jittery bond markets in Europe. And we saw that the yields of countries like Spain, Italy, which had gone up significantly, they have come off sort of after the injection by ECB. So I think ECB has played a stellar role in calming the markets, and the market will take comfort from the fact that if there is trouble on the anvil, ECB will stand fair and square behind these peripheral countries. But we are not yet out of the woods. I think going forward, we still believe that the negotiations that are currently underway between the lenders to the Greek government and Greek government, the toing and froing that is happening, what is the outcome? I think we got to wait for next couple of weeks. But I think if the outcome is positive, and if the government is able to convince the bondholders that they need to take a haircut, I think that one hitch also will be able to overcome. I think in the US there are clearly modest signs of recovery in US. They are picking as time passes. I think we are seeing more and more confidence coming back in the US system. And I think a lot of flows have started coming to emerging markets. India, I think in fact we saw $1 billion coming in the last few weeks of the current calendar year. And on the debt side again we saw some $2.5 billion coming in. So in all we have seen some $3.5 billion of money flowing in from the FIs on equity and debt put together in the current month till date. So that has sort of also been one of the reasons why the markets have remained buoyant. I think clearly RBI sort of has in yesterday's monetary policy reiterated the fact that it's only a matter of time before the interest rates start coming off. Yesterday's CRR cut was sort of the magnitude of the cut was unexpected. People were expecting a status quo, so they were pleasantly surprised with this sharp CRR cut. The commentary that follows along with the CRR cut isn't as benign as the markets have made out to be, because RBI clearly is saying that although we have cut rates, we have cut the requirements, I think the ball clearly is in the government's court, and the government needs to come out with a very credible and transparent medium-term fiscal consolidation plan in the budget, and they have sort of made a few demands, if I can use that, on the government. Basically, they have said that the government needs to ease supply side constraints in food and infrastructure, because if you strip out the vegetable prices, then the inflation in the food, overall inflation has come off because food inflation has come off. And within food, the RBI governor has pointed out, if you leave out the vegetable prices, which usually come off during the winter season, then the inflation is not yet come under control. That's why he's cautioned. That's why sort of he's urging the government that you clear the supply side, you ensure that the supply side constraints in food and infrastructure are taken care of. Plus labor reforms to ease pressure on the wages. And he has urged the government that you must shift the aggregate demand from the consumption side to the investment side, and from the public sector, from the public to the private sector. So these are some of the expectations that the RBI has from the government. Now we have to wait and see how the government responds. But the response of the government, to be fair, has now starting to be on the positive side. And when I say that, if you look at what the government has sort of done in terms of some of the issues facing the economy, I think they have constituted a committee under the principal secretary to take care of the coal supply linkages. Now this is one issue which has held back a lot of power projects, and the power sector honchos who met the Prime Minister pointed this out, that we need to do reforms on the coal supply linkages, on the falling gas production for the country as a whole, and also the SEB reforms. And the government has considered a high-powered committee. Within 3 months' time, they will come out with the report. And the market is pinning a lot of hopes that power sector projects which are which are running behind schedule will start coming off quite hopefully in next say 6 to 12 months. Also, they have said that post UP elections, the issue of FDI in multi-brand retail will again be taken up vigorously. FDI in aviation from airlines will again be taken up. So I think the signs of action from the government clearly are there to address some of the some of the macro issues. However, I think the fact that the fiscal deficit is going to look ugly this time, and the government will have to think of new sources of revenues to mop up. They'll also have to take a call on the fuel and fertilizer subsidy issue, which basically is something very crucial from the market perspective. And although I think they might not go whole hog and decontrol, but I think some sort of increase in prices of urea as well as diesel post elections, in budget or maybe after budget, will go a long way in terms of addressing concerns that the government is concentrating more on populist measures and not on reformist measures. So I think the beginning has been made, but there's still a long way to go insofar as the fiscal situation is concerned. I think, as I've said, the global risk aversion is abating, is coming off, and hence we are seeing flows coming to emerging markets, India being one of them. We got to build on this by showing that we will be pushing through a lot of reforms. And I think in the rally that we saw, I think some of the interest rate sensitive sectors which were clearly beaten down, which I mentioned, capital goods, engineering, infrastructure, real estate, banks, autos, they have been at the forefront. Although you talk to the companies from these sectors, especially infrastructure, capital goods, engineering, and they still talk about no order inflow picking pace. The working capital cycle has got badly battered. Their inventories have gone up. Their receivables have gone up very sharply. So hence, I think it's a long haul for these companies, I think. But the valuations sort of which had corrected very sharply, they have come back to a certain extent. Now I think the earnings need to come back, which is a good 6 months to 9 months from today. The first sort of signal to watch is how do the order inflows start sort of from the process industries, from the private sector, which clearly sort of, because sentiment is not it has clamped down on new projects. I think from the market perspective, our view is that today after the rally, the market is trading at around 15 times current year's earnings, that is FY12, and around 13 and a half times, around 13 times FY13 earnings, with a growth of around 16%. So I think from the valuation perspective, we feel that the rally that we saw clearly had discounted a lot of positives. In the last preview, we have said that 5,300 is the top that we are looking at, and we still maintain that there will be a lot of resistance to breach this level, and a decisive breach of this level is possible. As I said, only if two issues happen. A, the market is able to overcome this whole worry of policy paralysis, and the government spells out a very transparent fiscal consolidation plan in the budget. So I think from the market perspective, I would say that one needs to be cautious at the current level, and we would advise buying only in declines, because the first flush of re-rating has happened, and now I think, as I said, it will take some time for earnings to come back. So from the market perspective, 5,300 looks top in the short term. I think at least till sort of the UP election results, and if decisively I think a breach happens from those levels, I think then we will sort of look at sort of changing our view. But in the immediate terms, we feel that one must be cautious and buy only on declines. Now coming to the top picks, I think I'll sort of take you through some of the names that we still feel are attractive. I think on the auto side, I think we continue to like the Maruti and Tata Motors on the large cap side. In case of mid caps on autos, we continue to like Apollo Tyres and Amara Raja Batteries. Both Apollo Tyres and Amara Raja Battery look quite attractive. I think, and if someone wants me to discuss the stocks, I will discuss them in detail also, Apollo and Amara Raja Batteries. So in all autos, these four stocks we like. In banking, we continue to like sort of ICICI Bank as well as Axis Bank. Both of them have done, Axis has done especially fairly well in this rally, and we feel that there is still some upside to go in case of Axis Bank. In case of some other sectors, namely engineering, I think we continue engineering capital goods. I think Cummins and Thermax, both these companies we continue to like, and KEC. In fact, KEC has done especially well after our recommendation, so we continue to like that. So this is sort of some of the top picks that we have. If there are any questions, I think I'll be more than happy to talk on those. Throw the floor open for question and answer.
Sure, sir. Dear participants, please press star and one for questions. I request the participants to press star and one for questions. Participants, please press star and one for questions. First question comes from Siddharth Financial Consultant. Hello, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
I want to know कि retail sector में आपको क्या लग रहा है, कौन sector आपको कौन सा stock पे ज़्यादा लगता है जो get free है और retail sector में?
हाँ, I think मेरे ख्याल से मिड कैप्स में ऑटोज में फिलहाल हम बोल रहे हैं कि अपोलो टायर्स और अमारा राजा बैटरीज, ये दोनों स्टॉक्स हम कह रहे हैं. जैसे अमारा राजा में हम कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ से अराउंड 25% आपको मिल सकता है. 255 to 60 टारगेट प्राइस हमने रखा है. अपोलो टायर में भी हम कह रहे हैं कि अराउंड 77-80 रुपीज़, यानी कि अराउंड रफली 18 से 20% का अपसाइड यहाँ से है। सो ये दो स्टॉक्स ऑटोज में हम कह रहे हैं, और इसका कारण हम आपको ये कह रहे हैं कि अपोलो टायर्स में अगर आप देखेंगे तो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग अराउंड 35 to 36% ग्रोथ इन दी अर्निंग्स अगले साल में। इसेंशियली 40% इनका जो बिजनेस टोटल कॉस्ट स्ट्रक्चर है वो नेचुरल रबर का होता है, और नेचुरल रबर प्राइसेस काफ़ी घट गए हैं ग्लोबल मार्केट्स में। जो 230 रुपये था लास्ट सितंबर में, वो आज 190 रुपये हो गया है। अगर रुपी इतना गिरता नहीं तो और भी नीचे आ जाता, वो 170-180 तक आ जाता। तो इसलिए इनका सबसे बड़ा रॉ मटेरियल है, उसके प्राइसेस काफ़ी घट गए हैं। कंपनीज मार्केट लीडर है, इनके जो मार्जिन्स है वो बाकी जो कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं उनसे दुगने हैं। इसका जो यूरोपियन बिजनेस अच्छा कर रहा है, तो मेरे ख्याल से अपोलो टायर्स एक कंपनी आप रिटेल में अग्रेसिवली पुश कर सकते हैं। मैंने इसे कहा कि 77 to 80 हमारा टारगेट प्राइस है। और दूसरा, और एक स्टॉक लिक्विड भी काफ़ी है। और दूसरा है हमारा राजा बैटरीज, ये हम रिटेल में काफ़ी पुश कर रहे हैं। वहाँ पे अगर 256-260 का हमारा टारगेट प्राइस है, 25% अपसाइड। इसमें बेसिकली अगेन इसके जो अर्निंग्स हैं वो हम इस साल तकरीबन 24% प्रॉफिट्स ग्रो होंगे, और अगले साल तकरीबन 20% प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ की अपेक्षा हम कर रहे हैं हमारा राजा में। वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लेयर्स इन ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर है, काफ़ी डाइवर्सिफाइड रेवेन्यू बेस है, यानी कि ऑटोमोटिव बिजनेस और इंडस्ट्रियल दोनों में से तकरीबन 50% बिजनेस आता है। ऑटोमोबाइल भी सेक्टर में रिप्लेसमेंट 70% है, जहाँ से ज़्यादा मार्जिन आते हैं, OEM को कम बेचते हैं ये। और इंडस्ट्रियल में दे आर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग इन इन्वर्टर्स, UPS सेगमेंट्स में जहाँ मार्जिन ज़्यादा है।
FDI रिटेल में जैसे पेट्रोल रिटेल है, इस तरह के शेयर।
हाँ, FDI रिटेल में अगर आप देखेंगे, अगर मल्टी ब्रांड रिटेल में FDI अगर पारित होता है, आगे आता है, तो बेसिकली दो तीन स्टॉक्स, ये पैंटलून है, लेकिन उसमें एक आपको देखना है कि ये स्टेट सब्जेक्ट है। अगर ये पारित भी हो गया तो सेंटिमेंट के लिए पॉजिटिव होगा, लेकिन एक कैवियट जो आने वाला है कि हर स्टेट इसमें निर्णय लेगा कि अपने स्टेट में इसको अलाउ करना है या नहीं। और अगर ऐसे हो गया तो जो रुख नॉन कांग्रेस पार्टीज अडॉप्ट करेंगे तो वो भी देखना पड़ेगा आपको, कि जहाँ जैसे तृणमूल है, या यूपी में अभी ऑलरेडी SP BSP दोनों ने अपोज किया है, या BJP रूल स्टेट्स है, सम ऑफ देम हैव अपोज्ड। तो इसलिए अगर ये पारित भी हो गया तो सेंटिमेंटल बूस्टर है, लेकिन इसके कारण तुरंत बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स इमीडिएटली आएंगे, और आएंगे भी तो कौन से स्टेट्स में वो जाएंगे, क्योंकि 35 सिटीज को उन्होंने अप्रूव किया था, उसमें से कितने सारे तो अपोजिशन रूल्ड है, तो वहाँ नहीं आ सकता ये। तो इसमें काफ़ी दिक्कतें, इतना सिंपल नहीं होगा ये। जैसे आपने देखा कि FDI इन सिंगल ब्रांड रिटेल गवर्नमेंट ने पुश कर दिया है, लेकिन उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि 30% सोर्सिंग आपको स्मॉल स्केल से लेना पड़ेगा। तो इसके कारण IKEA जो बड़ा कंपनी है स्वीडन का फर्नीचर स्टोर का, जो इंडिया से काफ़ी माल उठाता है, तो उन्होंने ऑलरेडी कहा है कि ये हम 30% ज़्यादा ओनरस है, यानी कि डिफ़िकल्ट है हमें सोर्स करना। तो ये जो फाइन प्रिंट है, ये फाइन प्रिंट आपको देखनी पड़ेगी कि इसमें कुछ हेडलाइन तो पॉजिटिव है, लेकिन फाइन प्रिंट देखनी पड़ेगी, इससे कुछ एक्चुअल पैसा आएगा क्या, और कंपनीज को कितना फ़ायदा होगा। लेकिन ये ज़रूर है कि काफ़ी कंपनी, जैसे पैंटलून को काफ़ी डेट, टू मच ऑफ डेट, तो इसलिए उनके लिए तो ये लाइफलाइन हो जाएगा अगर ये पैसा FDI इन रिटेल आ गया तो, और उनको कोई अच्छा पार्टनर मिला तो।
Participants, please press star and one more question. Next question comes from Prabhudas Sridhar, Kolkata branch. Good evening, sir. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Would like to ask you, like just now you said that Tata Motors as well as Maruti in the heavy weightage sector in automobiles. So Tata Motors is continuously giving a rally from 175 levels to today it has given a new high of 34.70. So at what level what will be the lucky level to enter into Tata Motors?
See, as I said, in large caps में one must generally I think because the markets have rallied so aggressively, one should keep on buying only on declines. जैसे आपने rightly कहा कि टाटा मोटर्स already काफी चढ़ा है. अब overall obviously we are positive because उनका जो JLR है that is doing very well अलग-अलग markets में. लेकिन because it has gone up so sharply, I would advise that आप you hold on for some time, wait for sort of some correction to come in, and then you can get on the bandwagon.
Okay. And as well as in the overall scenario in Nifty, like it started varying from 453
Yeah, that Nifty में our view basically sir ये है कि for 5300 breach करना difficult लगता है, क्योंकि मैंने जैसे कहा कि ये दो चीज़ें जो है कि कोई strong fiscal consolidation plan और गवर्नमेंट से और ज़्यादा सिग्नल्स कि हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बॉटलनेक्स और ओवरऑल रिफॉर्म्स प्रोसेस पे वी आर अगेन गोइंग गंग हो. तो ये क्योंकि ग्लोबल एनवायरनमेंट में जो इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है उसके कारण थोड़ा पैसा आया है, इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स में इंडिया में भी आया है, तो इसके कारण थोड़ा रैली हुआ है, स्ट्रॉन्ग रैली हुआ है अराउंड 45 से. आपने जैसे कहा ऑलरेडी सॉर्ट ऑफ वी आर very close to that upper end of the cap that we had seen. So I think now it is time for us to advise caution and buy only on declines.
Now since there is a rally for almost 18 days and today there was expiry and it's already over, is it wise to take a fresh long position from Friday onwards?
See, I would advise caution. I would advise that although short term it's very difficult and no one can predict कि next 1 day or 2 days में क्या होगा. But overall, I think looking at the sheer momentum that one has seen in the market from the lower levels and continuous up move, not just in large caps, but this time the difference has been that the breadth of the rally has taken everyone by surprise. The volumes also have been supportive. So, but at the same time, I think in my opinion, it should take a breather.
Thank you. Next question comes from DP Bhatt and Co. Suresh Bhatt.
Yes, sir.
Sir, which are the stocks in defense sectors?
Which are stocks in?
Defense sectors.
Defense or
Yeah.